This is the I Love Success podcast. I'm Peter Jumrukovski, and I have made a vow to myself to help as many people as possible to achieve their dreams. Let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to this extra special episode of the I Love Success podcast. I'm here in Lomita, California with the martial artist, former UFC champion and Bellator fighter, Lyoto the Dragon Machida. Kick back, relax. We're gonna talk about his philosophy on life and how to excel as a human being and martial artist. So let's go. Hey Lyoto, I'm super grateful to be here with you today. I know you're super busy. I had the honor of do the podcast with you, episode 12, about 3 years ago.
Yes.
And in that episode, we shared more about your journey in the UFC and all your fights and becoming a champion. Today, I want to focus a little bit more about the other aspects of martial arts, which is the mindset. And your family has been great at embodying being a true martial artist. And before we start talking about that, what has happened in your life the last couple of years?
So I have been training a lot, as usually training. No, I have been competing and try to accomplish my goals. That's my mindset throughout my life. So all the time I have to accomplish something. And I've been running this academy with my wife and my brother Shinzo, so it's a lot of work. So you have to, because as you said, it's more about philosophy. It's not about just the technique. It's about how to share the knowledge and how to share everything to improve their student life. That's our main purpose. Of course, the technique is a part of that, but so I've been doing a lot of things and traveling a lot. Sometimes last year I traveled a little bit more, but this year I try to be more here because I like my routine. I like to have a routine.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're talking a lot about goals, and I know last time we talked about you had a goal to become an MMA fighter, and you went to Japan by yourself when you were 18, I think.
Yeah, 21.
You were 21, and it was so cold, and you didn't want to be there, and you told us, like, beat yourself first. And then you went all this way, and you became a UFC champion without basically losing a single round in the UFC. What happens to the mind after you fight so long for a goal? Is it hard to set a new goal, or what happens in the mind?
So I have to be honest. So it's not easy to set a new goals all the time, but I believe you gotta do that. Yeah. If you don't do that, there is no reason to be here. So to live your life just to live, it's so empty. So we need to do something else. We need to impact the life of others through your example, through your attitude. And one thing I like to challenge myself all the time. So since when I was a child, I like those type of challenge, like I have to become a champion, I have to fulfill something, I have to accomplish something. Since I've been competing since I was 4 years old. Of course, it's an amateur sport, but I've been competing in sumo, wrestling, in jiu-jitsu, in karate, with my brothers inside the house all the time. And there is a competition left and right.
Yeah.
Right? So, but to set a new goals, it's a matter of mindset. So the way that you receive things in your life. Sometimes when you receive things in your life, and you know how to deal with that and how to set a new goals through that thing that happened in your life. That's the most challenging thing that you have to face sometimes. For example, when I moved to another event, Bellator, I want to be a champion. I'm not there just because I want to fight and just because I want to make money. Of course, make money is a part of the job. You You have to do that. But the most important thing is, what is your goal when you go through some situation in your life, when you have to face something? That's motivate me. That's motivated me to train every day. That's motivated me to be with my family, to inspire my kids, to inspire my wife, and to be admired for them, by them. That's the thing that I believe that our life has to base on in something like that. Otherwise, it's gonna be so empty, as I said.
Yeah. And it was your father's birthday yesterday, and I've had the honor of meeting him a couple of times. So what has been some of the biggest lessons that he have taught you for life?
It's hard to say just one thing, but what I can say is one of the main concern of my father was how to give us, my brother and I, his best things, his best knowledge. I can say that we have a very good upbringing. We had a time as a kid to play around, to joke with other kids, to do everything as a kid. But when you raise someone, you have to pay attention 24 hours, 24/7. I can say like that, because it's not a time that you have to sit in around the table and discuss just one thing. You have to pay attention in very small details. For example, if you walk with your kids on the street and you see some different behavior from them, like if they spit out on the floor, you have to call them and say everything. Hey, you have to pay attention, don't do that. If they push someone, like the other kids playing around, they do something wrong, you have to say something to them. Otherwise, you're gonna miss that stuff. That you're gonna lose some time, that you have to pay attention and say something and capitalize on their education sometimes, on stuff like that. But of course, my father, he taught me a lot of things. But one thing that he taught me that I think was so important is because he always said the same thing: Lyoto, you're born by yourself. So many times you're gonna be by yourself in your life. So don't count on other people, because when you count on other people, you become weak sometimes. Because if that people is not there waiting for you, you're gonna be very frustrated. Yeah. If you are frustrated, you're not gonna be able to accomplish what you want. So that's why you had a training, and you still have the training in our dojo, 5:30 in the morning. The last time that we had a conversation, I told you that you have to beat yourself all the time. Yeah. When I say you have to beat yourself, because when you do something early in the morning, or something that you accomplish very early in the morning, you're gonna be ready to face your day. Yeah. If you're ready to face your day, you're gonna be more strong, you're gonna be more ready for any situation that can happen in your daily basis. Yeah. So when I say you are by yourself, it doesn't mean that you don't have a friend, you don't have a family, but as a fighter, when you close the door in the cage, you are by yourself all the time. Yeah. You have to deal with all the situation, you have to know how to handle everything inside the cage. That's so important. Life is like that, man. Sometimes you have all the help until certain point of your life. Then from that moment, you have to go by yourself. Like when you pass away, you're gonna pass by yourself. Nobody goes with you. Yeah. It can happen, of course. Sometimes you have a car accident and you or your wife, everybody's inside the car. It can happen, you pass away, everybody together. But that's not the normal thing that can happen in your life.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that mentally? Like, hey, I'm by myself. And it's easy to be by yourself when you're a champion, right?
Yes.
But when you lose, where you get knocked out, or when bad things happen in your life, how do you work with your mind to deal with that?
Yes, because I always been saying the same thing. So everything is a matter of mindset, you know? If you think that everything that happens in your life is gonna come to help you in somehow, you're gonna change the way that you see some things. For example, all the adversities that happen in your life, sometimes you think that's a problem. No, that's a solution. If it comes to you because you need to pass this situation, and you're only gonna change something if you learn. If you stay there, for example, you struggle to do something in your life, and you stay there for years sometimes, but you have to have help, otherwise you're gonna stay there. If you don't look for help, you can consider yourself an arrogant in a sense of don't ask for help, because sometimes you have another situation, other people in the same situation, they go through the same path in the same time, they pass through the situation in like 3-5 minutes, and you struggle for like 10 hours, 12 hours in the same situation. At the end of the day, you still say like, I do by myself. It's so arrogant when you do that, because life is not like that, man. If you can pass, if you can go through in 3 minutes, why I have to wait for 10 hours just to, at the end of the path, say, I do by myself? It's a pride. I don't like that. So what is important to know, if you there in the struggle situation, it's because you still have to learn something. Yeah. It can be some help, it can be to be more humble, it can be to know something else, to go through that as fast as you can, but you have to learn something.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think sometimes it's hard when you're supposed to be a champion to ask for help, right? Have you struggled with that in your life?
Yes. Yeah. When you're supposed to be a champion, and you ask for help.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because sometimes, you have all the potential to be a champion, but you have to be the potency, not just to be a potential to be a champion. You can see in every corner, you can see a lot of potential people. Yeah. Like you can just walk over there, you see a lot of talents, a lot of things. Hey, this guy is a potential. Yeah. But I don't want to be the potential. I want to be the potency. Yeah. So it's completely different. When you see the potency, you're already there. You're already there. You're already the champion. But when I say champions in life, champions requires a lot of things. Yeah. Because ups and downs is a part of our life, man. Yeah. If you're not ready for that, you're not ready to be a champion. Yeah. There is no champion that always in ups all the time. You have to have a down to learn something. That's the way that I think. And also, I still believe that every single human being were born here to have a success. Of course, everyone has a different path. Sometimes you have to struggle more than other people. But when you start to compare yourself with other people, that's the weak part, because you cannot compare it. You're by yourself, man. You're a single human being. So you have your own destiny. You have your own path. You cannot compare it. But as a human being, you always look to the side and see what my neighbor is doing. Yeah. Why he has money, why he accomplished everything. It doesn't matter, man. You can create a jealousy. You can create a lot of things, like a bad things in your life just because you compare yourself with the other. Of course, it's a part of the human being sense, like to compare you with the other. But when you take off this ego, this stuff, so you can develop yourself much more than if you just think in the victory. Because when Funakoshi is a father of karate. He's a very religious guy. when he was here with us in life. I mean, so but he was against competition because he knows that competition can raise your ego a lot. Yeah. And he said to Master Nakayama Sensei, "Hey, when I pass away," he wrote a letter and said, "When I pass away, you can continue the journey of competition. Yeah. But before I pass away, I don't like to see karate in this stage. No, I don't like to see karate in a competition level because I know it's gonna raise a lot of egos in people. Yeah. And I believe that martial arts, and especially karate, was no built for that."
Yeah, it's interesting. And what do you feel about, like, what's the difference between people who has the potential and people that actually go for it? So what has to happen if someone listening or watching right now, they have the potential, right? But what do they have to do? Because I see it all the time. They stop. Everybody wants to sign up to be a champion, but just like you said, they don't want to deal with the defeat, the losses, the injuries, the hard times. What can you say as advice for those people that could help them?
So there is one saying that if you stop in the middle of the way, you don't get in anywhere. So it means like we tend to stop. We tend to go to the comfort zone all the time. Even a dog, even a horse, if they can have a chance to choose, if they can have a chance to choose like a rock path and a grass path, they're gonna go to the grass path. It's a normal. So, but when you stop in the middle of the way, that's happening with a lot of people in many situations. You cannot get wherever you want to be. So what is important? But to not stop, you have to have resilience. You have to have discipline. You have to have respect. You have to be humble. There is a lot of things. It's a combination of everything that makes you accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. If you ask successful people, any successful people, they have a very hard moment in their life. What makes the difference between them and others was just because they I cannot say insist, they were very resilient. They could deal with problems, with adversity, and always think in a positive way. So if you think in a positive way, it's gonna change your life. Because, for example, something happened in your life. For instance, you hit the car. And it's a very simple example, but you can see how you deal with that. Some people deal with very angry, with very arrogant attitudes. Like, hey, shit, what I did. The others do different. Like, hey, I have to learn something. It's okay, I'm angry a little bit because I hit my car, but I have to change fast. Because if I keep with the same mood, it's not gonna take me to the level that I want to be. So I have to change right away. So that makes the difference. Because everybody has the anger. Everybody has the jealousy. Everybody has everything. We are human beings. So, but when you change fast, when you're capable to change as fast as you can and go towards a good thing, that makes a lot of difference. No, that makes you to deal in different way. Because I still believe that the nature, the universe, the earth, has a lot of energies, a lot of atoms, stuff like that you can connect yourself with. Like in quantum physics, they study like that. They study like if you connect yourself with bad energy, you're gonna communicate bad things. If you relate yourself with good energy, you're gonna relate yourself with good things. You're gonna be in a good way, in a good path, and it helps you to achieve whatever you want. So, first of all, you have to think inside the house, how you deal with your stuff in your home. Because it's easy when everybody watching you, you do good things. But with people that you deal with you day by day, so how to deal that? How to how you treat your kids, how you treat your wife, how you treat your brothers, people that you have you are very close to. So that's the most challenge that I have to understand, and I have to treat they good. I have to know I don't need to yell, I don't need to be arrogant, to be stupid. I have to control myself. That's martial arts teach us all the time. If you see the saying karate, you have to control your aggressive instinct.
Yeah.
You have to respect everybody. Funakoshi said that when he found karate.
Yeah. No, I love that. And just to talk a little bit about your life, what has been one of the hardest moments in your life, and what did you do to deal with that?
So I can say, like, in my professional career, when I had the problem with USADA, because I consider myself as an innocent, and also but I commit a mistake in terms of don't read the labels in supplements, and I didn't know that in that supplement, to be honest, was not allowed to use that supplement. It used to be allowed in the past, but 4 years later, it's not allowed anymore, and I didn't know that. You can find over the counter in Walgreens, in CVS. It's a very common supplement for stress. And I came from 2 defeats in a row. I was so stressed. And the doctor said, no, Leo, you can handle your stress with that supplement. And I didn't know. And I disclosed everything in the day of the test. And I had a problem with USADA. And 4 days before my fight, I was cutting weight. And I received the notice that they said, Lyoto, you had a problem because you disclosed some supplement that's not allowed. And now they're gonna suspend you for a couple of months. And I said, okay. I was thinking that it could be 6 months, but I ended up in almost 2 years, 18 months. I was very disappointed with that, and to handle with that was so hard because was nothing inside the cage, was nothing inside my house, but it was something that bothers me a lot because imagine in front of everybody, they think that I'm a cheater. But I didn't do that on purpose, It happens, and I had to deal with everything, and I dealt very well because at the beginning I struggled, I cry a lot, I didn't understand because what I did to go through this, I was thinking with myself. And my wife, she always with me all the time. We are together for almost 27 years because we started dating when I was 15 years old. Wow. And we're still together. We dated for 10 years, then 17 years married. And she said, Lyoto, I think we need some help. We need some professional help to give you the tools to overcome this situation. Okay. And I was very reluctant. I didn't want that. I said, no, I don't want anybody, so I can handle by myself. I was arrogant in that moment because of the stress, because of the situation and everything. I could not see the way that I could escape from that situation. I could overcome that situation. Then we had an invitation to go to Brazil to attend a coach systematic course for 3,000 people, like a Tony Robbins here. Yeah. He's a guy very famous. His name is Paulo Vieira. I'm very grateful for him because he helped me a lot. And when the course started, he just said something that my father used to say to me all the time, self-responsibility. He was talking about the subject self-responsibility. When he started saying that, self-responsibility, he grabbed my attention and he said, no, my father told that. That reminds me when I was a child, because when you had a competition and somebody stolen us in the competition, like you do a kata, you do much better, and somebody or you do a comité and the guy do a wazari for other guy and you do an accept to that. Every time when we came up to our there and say, hey, the guy stole our eyes, he said, no, don't say that. If you want to improve, you have to train him more, because if you do ippon, they cannot steal you. Yeah. Do more, train him more, don't do that. This is a weak excuses. When you do that and you say that, somebody steal me, somebody stole me, is a weak excuses. Okay? Never say that again. And I was raised in that mindset. Yeah. So when the course started with that subject, I was very interested. I said, no, that's so good. Then, but it's not a one course can change your life. It's a process. Then when I came back to the United States after a couple of days, because I stayed there for 5 days in a course, I started to read more, I started to pray more, I started to have my morning routine, I started to do stuff that I didn't do for a while. Yeah. I was doing for a while. I was not doing for a while because of the professional career, because of the family, always excuses and excuses. But if you want to be a champion, if you want to accomplish something, there is no excuses. Yeah. Always there is a way. There is will, there is a way. Yeah. If you really want something, you're going to go, you're going to do something, because you're going to find some way to do that thing. So in that moment, I start a little bit to feel the better energy. I still like 6 months after that, after the suspension, 6 months. Then I move on everything. After 6 months, I move on. I said, no, it's time to change. I have to have a decision. My decision is now, what is going to happen from now on? What it passed already passed. I cannot dwelling on the past, stay, oh, what happened? No. Of course, you have to have a mourning. Like if somebody pass away, you have to mourning like for a couple of days, for a couple of months. It's normal. Yeah. Somebody that you really like. Sometimes you have a mourning for a month, a while, but you have to have a decision when you're gonna finish that, when you're gonna like start a new part of your career. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna be very stuck in that situation. So situation happens in our life to improve yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a good or bad. Usually bad things improves you much more than good things, because when you win the fight, you don't care about what you did wrong. You don't care about what mistake you commit, you made. It doesn't matter for you, because I win. Yeah. If you win, you're right. Not even always, but you have to change sometimes. Because in Brazil, there is a saying that they said, if your team is winning, don't change. Yeah. That concept I don't agree. Because even if you win, you have to change something. There is some mistakes that you commit, you have to adjust, you have to fix. Otherwise, you're still gonna have the same mindset of the most of people. No, don't change. If you win, don't change. No, you have to change. If you wanna improve, you have to change. Of course, you have to take the consideration of everything that you're doing in a good way, but you have to change something.
I agree, and I think one thing that I've started a couple of years ago, just like you, is to take full responsibility with everything.
Yes.
And that's really, really hard.
Really hard.
It's so easy. Even sometimes it's not my fault, but as long as I tell that to myself, I cannot change, right?
Yes.
But the moment I say, hey, there's a reason this is happening and it's my fault, my responsibility, now I can change, right? So I love that. And also about, I think it's grow or die. If you're not improving, you're dying in a way.
Yes, right? Yes. That's in all business.
Yeah.
If you're not improving, there is a saying in business that you said, if you're not improving, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
If your business is not improving, you're gonna die. You have to change all the time. So it's a matter of time. If you're not improving, you're gonna die. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
And let's talk about death, because we all know Kobe Bryant passed away just a couple of days ago, and a lot of other people in that horrible crash, and that kind of sometimes I think, like as athletes, you have done some things that will be immortalized, right? That will never, people always remember. But do you fear death?
Like I'm helping other people in some stuff, or
No, do you fear death for yourself? Do you fear? Do you
It's a
fear
fear.
death? Do you have a fear of dying?
Of course. Nobody wants to die. Nobody want to pass away. So, but as we have a challenge in our life in different way, to challenge yourself and not have a fear to die, it's very hard but that's the mindset that we should have facing any situation that you have to face. You're not gonna be like a guy that doesn't care about the consequence, not that. Yeah. But you have to control your fear when you talking about if you have to pass away or not. But the way that we should think should be like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I have to pass away, because everybody gonna pass away. Yeah. So, to be honest, we cannot be worried about that. You should not be worried about that, because it's not a matter of age. It's not a matter of, anybody can pass away anytime. Even us here, we can pass away anytime. So, but to live our life based on the fear of to not pass away, it's hard, man. Yeah. No, it's hard. But martial arts teach us that. So you have to train, you have to control yourself, but sometimes when you face some situation, you're gonna have the fear, you're gonna have it, but to be like that, it's hard, man. It's hard. That's why I train every day. That's why I read a lot. That's why, because I wanna pass away in a comfort zone. I mean, in a comfort zone in terms of mindset, in terms of emotional sense, you know what I mean? Like, of course, if we have that way to think, I think you're gonna go through better than who doesn't have anything. Like, just have the fear and don't looking for some help, looking for something that can help you out to understand more about life.
Yeah. No, I agree. And one thing I've been curious with you, Lyoto, you are a guy with a lot of positive energy. Were you always like that? The guy with like a lot of easy to laugh, to have fun, and a lot of energy? And where do you think that comes from? Because I feel the same way in my life. I'm so positive, and now I've been sick for a couple of days, and I'm like, oh, and I miss myself. You know?
Yeah. I'm like you. Yeah. I'm just feel like in a bad mood when I'm sick or stuff like that. But usually I use the energy. I like to be cheerful, joy. I like my joy, and I like to talk to people and all the time try to bring the high energy. Yeah. Because I believe that the energy means everything. If you have a good energy, good things can happen in your life. And you can help other people. If you have a good energy, you can help other people, even if you just do a smile or give somebody a hug or a couple words. But you're always gonna be in a positive way in order to share your knowledge, in order to live your life. And I believe that is a part of my mom, because she's so happy, and it can be an aspect genetic. Yeah. No, genetic aspect, and I like to be here. I like to be like that, because sometimes my wife, she wake up every morning. She doesn't like to talk too much in the morning, and I like to talk. Yeah. 5:30 in the morning, I like to talk. I like to play around. I like to joke. And she said, "Lyoto, come on. No, I don't. I'm not like you, so I need my time." And she's right. We gotta respect. Everybody's different, but I like to be like that, because for me, life is fun. I like to enjoy all the moments, even when in a serious situation. I like to joke a little bit to break the ice, to relax more and to be surround people in that sense.
I love that. And so I know you're still fighting and you're gonna train martial arts for the rest of your life. But what do you see yourself when you're done competing? What do you want to do in the world once you're done with fighting?
So once I'm done with fighting, so I think that first of all, I'll be all the time connected with martial arts, especially with karate, because I believe that martial arts is a great tool to socialize people in terms of bringing, for example, kids that have no chance, to put them in the middle of the society and through martial arts and educate them, giving a chance. Because when we say about education, we only think about schools. Yeah. But you cannot forget that this is karate is a school, man. It's a school that teaches you to be a real good person. Yeah. Like in terms of philosophy, respect, discipline, stuff like that. Sometimes you cannot find that in the schools. Yeah. They have a misunderstanding sometimes when you're talking about that. But in martial arts, for sure you're gonna find something like that. And I still believe when I'm done with fight, I wanna be a part of some program, something like that, where you can help other people, we can share my knowledge, we can learn something. And I like to be surround people. I like to be with people, among people, because I think people are life for me. If you surround people, you have life. If you can change energy, exchange something, and I want to do something like that. I've been doing some speech in Brazil related with self-growth, and who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing things you can share. And I just think about your father and my father, who are both great senseis. And it's something amazing to help all the kids, right? There's so many kids that need a place. And what I love with karate is that in here, it doesn't matter like who you are. Yeah. Put on the gi.
Yes.
It's the same, right?
It's the same.
It doesn't matter if you're white or black or
yes.
from Japan, Brazil, Sweden, Macedonia.
There is no segregation.
Yeah.
Once you put the gi, there is no segregation. Yeah. Everybody's the same. Yeah. And I believe like you said, so karate, it's a way that you can help a lot of people. If they understand, because it's not just about technique, yeah. If they understand that, because here in our academy, we try to share a lot of stuff like that. Sometimes I like to talk, I like to share my knowledge about life in a conversation, not about the technique, because they miss that. Yeah. Sometimes they don't have that in the school, they don't have that in their house, but they can find that in the academy, they can find that in the martial arts, and understand that why we are here, why you have to have some goals, why you have to accomplish something. Otherwise, your life is going to be completely empty, and you're going to be a very, you can go to a bad path if you don't have that. Like, it's easy to have a bad friends. I mean, bad friend, bad guy. I mean, like, somebody invites you to use drugs. Somebody invites you to steal something, to do a bad things. Life, the world is a bunch of guys like that. So you have to save some people. You have to save kids. You have to save especially kids, because they are the future. Yeah. If you have a good education, if you raise them in a good way, of course, you're going to have a good world, a better world. That's my concern about my kids, no? One day, one guy asked me, Lyoto, how do you think you can pass to another generation? So, your knowledge. I mean, like, it doesn't matter what my kid's gonna choose. If they're gonna choose to be a soccer player, a doctor, a teacher, whatever. They don't need to be like I am, fighter. They can choose whatever they wanna choose. So, but the most important thing is, I have to give a better kids to the world.
Yeah.
That's my job, because I want their generation be better than our generation. In order to have that, it's a lot of challenge. You have to fight with the technology. You have to fight with a lot of friends in their school, because sometimes you don't have that control. Some of the friends can give them something that they have to know how to say no. Where is that come from? Come from the house. So how you teach your kids? How you teach your kids with deal with situation when they see some old guy fall in the street? So help other people. Give the seats to the people that is older than you. Stuff like that. That karate, martial arts, people that has the very reasonable. They understand that and understand that you have to teach that for our kids. Sometimes because our professional career, like some doctors, some teachers, they don't have a time to give to their family. But don't forget, family is our priority. Yeah. If you lay down in the hospital, if you are a very good businessman, you're not gonna ask for the next project. You're not gonna ask for something that you wanna accomplish. You're gonna ask for your family. You're gonna ask for your kids, for your wives, for your brothers, for your friends. So life is a relationships. Life is people. So you have to be surrounded good people and help other people to help other people. That's the mindset.
I love that. And talking about like becoming a champion and having big goals, like a lot of people that are watching this and listening, they have big goals. But what if you don't accomplish those goals? What if you do everything you can and you don't get there? Like, what do you want to say to those people? They feel like, I've done everything, but I wasn't able to become this champion.
The way that I think is, if you don't accomplish something, you miss something. You miss something. It may be a knowledge, it may be some teacher, it may be some to be humble, it may be something that you don't accomplish because you miss your talent sometimes. So, but what I recommend to our students, to our kids, is always, if you don't accomplish something, you have to figure out what I miss to not accomplish. I still have time to accomplish what I want, because something in our life has a limit of time. So if you don't accomplish to be an athlete until you're some 25 years old, 30 years old, you're not able to continue that journey. So you have to figure out what I missed to not accomplish. It's so important, because sometimes you just throw away everything. No, you don't have to throw away. You have to, because what I miss here can help me in other situation. If I don't accomplish here, I don't have time anymore to do this. Okay, I can be frustrated for a while. Yes, it's like a morning, like I said. You can be in the morning for a while, then you have to have a decision. Now I have to do another thing. What is past already passed. I cannot dwell on the past, stay there. I have to move on everything and thinking ahead, what I have to do. Because sometimes you in your 40s years old, you said, no, I don't want to do anything more. Hey, for me, it's a due respect with yourself, because God, universe, the infinite intelligence gives you a chance to be here. You're only in your 40s. You're not gonna do anything to help other people. So you have to inspire other people. Even if it's just your kids, your family, your wife, you have to inspire them. Because once your wife not admire you anymore, you're gonna start to go down with your marriage, with your family. So you have to do something. Sometimes I cannot be an athlete, but I can be a good teacher, but I can be a good father. You have to set new goals. If you don't accomplish some goals, forget, figure out, realize what I miss in that journey. So I'm not gonna miss in my another goal, in another journey. I have to figure out and do another thing.
Yeah, I love that. And also, like, we always learn, right? Will Smith said something. He said, goals are not always to be accomplished. They're to move the needle and to learn something, right? Because if we don't have a goal, it's like a punch, right? If you want to hit me here, you're gonna shoot further back, right?
Yes.
So you shoot for something, but we don't always reach that level, which is hard. It doesn't feel good. But if we always reach all our goals, doesn't that mean that we set our goals too short?
How come? How?
So a lot of people, like, because of fear, they set easy goals. You know,
Oh,
they don't
okay.
challenge themselves, because going after something for real, for example, when you said, I'm gonna be a UFC champion, to say that, that's really, really hard.
Yes.
Because it's only a few people in the world and it's a very, very small chance, right? But still going after it and doing it, right? Like
Yes.
every UFC fighter, it's very few that achieve it, or
Yes.
a Bellator fighter,
Yes.
very, very few, but they're still good. They're
Yes.
still going for it, right?
Yes. So what I say is, of course, you cannot set huge goals at the beginning. You're gonna set little by little. It's kind of training.
Yeah.
So once you set small goals, but once you're gonna have a big dream, like, otherwise, if you just dream shortly, you're gonna just achieve shortly.
Yeah.
So you have to set big goals in order to achieve that. Because if you have a big goals, you're gonna have more satisfied at the end of the day. Of course, I said it's a matter of training. You have to, but every people has to have a small goals in your daily basis. For example, I cannot. Every day for me, it's a goal. For example, today, I have to do everything that I write down yesterday. Like, I have to training, I have to come over here to do the podcast and everything. It's some small goals that you have to set. Because if you just dismiss that, if you just doesn't care for anything, you're not gonna have a big goals. Of course, in order to have a big goals, you have to set small goals first. But of course, in my concept, you have to have a big goals at the end of the day, you know, like in 1 year, in 2 years, I have to have. And you have to understand if you really going towards the goal, or you deviate a little bit to another place, you know, because in the middle of the way, you're gonna have a lot of temptation in your life. Sometimes parties, sometimes kids, sometimes friends, sometimes a lot of things can deviate you from your goals, and you start moving to another place, thinking that you're doing the right way. But life's gonna be in charge of that, to show you that you're not in the right place to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So because once you set something, you know what is wrong, what is right. Everybody knows. If you're doing something right, you know. If you do something wrong, you know. But what is important is, as Will Smith said, sometimes you cannot accomplish that. Figure out what I missed to not accomplish it. Why I didn't accomplish. It's so responsible when you do that. That's when you care about your life. Because it's easy to just throw away, say, no, throw away, I don't want that anymore. So I'm just gonna set a new goal. Then it's gonna be a habit. You're gonna set a new goal, then you're gonna fail, you're gonna quit, you're gonna do other things, then you're gonna quit. Life, it's a matter of habit. If you create a good habit, that's why I said, why wake up early and beat yourself every day? Because if I beat myself, I can face another situation. I'm ready. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna win the situation, but it means that I'm ready to face that situation in terms emotional terms.
Yeah, I love that. I have one thing that I read that I really like. That you wrote this the other day, and you said, when you give others the chance to decide for you, you waste an opportunity for growth. And I really like that. Can you just talk about that? Why is it so important to take ownership and make your own decisions?
because it same. So to have the full responsibility. If you give other people, the opportunity to take you to the place that you want to go, you give them the responsibility of your life. So you cannot give them the responsibility of your own life. Your own life, it's about yourself. You have, for example, sometimes happen, you training, then you just listen to your coach all the time. You don't have anything inner, to decide in the moment that you have to decide. Then you lose, for instance. Then you're gonna try to blame your coach. But you have to blame yourself, not your coach. Because you give them the responsibility. You give them the authority to take care of your career. That's why you have to listen to, of course, but you have to have your own. In Japanese, there is 3 words that can explain a little bit of that. Shuhari is a process of learning. Shuhari means when you shu, you're very obedient. Like if your coach said, raise your hand, you raise your hand. Lift your leg, you lift your leg. Go down, you do everything. Shu. When you go to another level, ha. Ha, you start to put some different things in your career, like in your life, your like another masters, another techniques, another tools, another things to incorporate your game. Now you start to rebel yourself, like not in a bad way, like I respect, I'm gonna keep following my accents, but I have to change, break the rules a little bit. Yeah. I have to break the rules. And you are the rules. Now it's time to fly yourself, like you fly by yourself. You don't need to listen too much to other people. You have to have your own concept, your own mentality, and everything that you have to decide your life. You can apply that in education, when you raise your kids as well, in the process of learning. So shu, ha, ri. Shu, very obedient. Ha, you break the rules a little bit, but you still keep your accents. And the ri, you keep your sense, but you do by yourself. When you do by yourself, it means that you have the full responsibility of every single attitude that you have in your life. It doesn't matter more. You cannot blame anybody. Now it's time to fly by yourself. Like I have the winnings and I'm gonna fly by myself.
I got this, right?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Because like being a champion, everybody in a sense, they say yes to you, they're extra nice, they tell you what's good, maybe not necessarily what's bad. Everybody has advice for your family, for your money, for your fighting, for everything. How do you deal with that and to know who is really looking out for you, who just want to say something?
Yeah, that's very hard task because it happens a lot. It's very often happens in my life. So everybody wants to recommend something. You cannot listen to everybody. You have to know who is you listen to. And also, what did you say at the beginning?
My question is, everybody is telling you, hey, this is good, Lyoto.
Yes.
When you fight, everything is good.
Yes.
But how do you know what? Because few people don't want to say anything bad, right?
Yes. They don't wanna have hard feelings.
Yeah.
You know? But that's very dangerous because sometimes you just receive the compliments all the time. Yeah. Hey, you are the guy. It's the beginning of the end. Yeah. When you just receive the compliments all the time, no, you are good. Even in the social media, sometimes, if you try to read everything in the social media, that's not gonna be good because sometimes they're very exaggerating your side or your other side. They put you like, you're the best man, you karate guy, you kick somebody in the face. And sometimes when you read, you stop it. Yeah. You don't good, you don't know what you're doing, why you still fighting, you should retire. Stuff like that. That's why to be away from that is good. To be more neutral that's the best way. And to choose the right people to listen to. That's the most challenging thing when you're in the top of the wave. In the top of the wave, it's hard to choose someone to listen to. Like, I'm gonna listen to this guy. So if the guy said, I have to do that, because they have references. Like, they have some results in the past that, for example, my father, one guy that I have to follow. Of course, they have history. So some coach I have to listen to because they have history, they have everything. I have to be more, I have to hear more, listen to more of these guys, and to know who is really want your good things for you, or who really wants just taking advantage of you.
Yeah. And I think everybody struggles with that in certain levels, right? And we've seen this, and because when you lose, what happened? Like, I know I lost a very important fight for me, and people were happy. A lot of people close to me were happy, and I know this is not my friends.
Yeah,
not
definitely.
My real friends.
Yeah.
Because when I win, oh, good. When I lose, I see, okay, you're happy. But what I learned from that, I learned a lot about myself, and also about, hey, you need to listen to only the people close to you that really cares about you.
Yes.
Right? And it's hard, and time is running up, equipment is falling out.
Yeah.
Lyoto, just one last question, and then I'm gonna let you go. I know you have a lot of goals to accomplish today. So talking about like this philosophy, like the Dragon's philosophy, what's the last thing you want to say to people watching this to create a good life,
So, first of all, I want to say that you have to listen to your heart. That's so important thing, because you know what is right, what is wrong. You always know. If you really look into, in a deep way inside of your heart, you're gonna find the response. You're gonna find the answer. So listen to your heart is so important, because sometimes even your father, your mother, they want to say something good for you, but you the only guy that knows. If you don't know, just close your eyes, sit down for a couple of days, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Try to breathe in, think about, ask for answers. You're gonna have the answer. That's so important thing. I've been doing that, and I'm so happy, because I didn't believe that back in the days, but I was reading something, and I realized that in a Bob Proctor book, is a very mental guy. He's doing speech around the world, and he said that sometimes you have to sit down for 5-10 minutes every day and ask questions, asking for whatever you want. You're gonna find the answers. And because I don't wanna just say here to be disciplined, everybody knows that. But I wanna say something different. No, I wanna say that sometimes everybody can say good things for you, but you, the only guy that if you look in a deep way for yourself, very inside yourself, within, you have the answer. Just close your eyes. The nature, the God, the universe gonna give you some tips. You're gonna have
that.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lyoto, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you one more time. And for me, it's always an honor to be with you, because you're a karate guy, very respectful, and to share a little bit of my history, a little bit of my path with other people. It's one of the purpose of my life.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching and listening to this incredible episode we did with Lyoto Machida. He doesn't do many of those, so feel free to share this with the world so people can hear this message and improve their lives as well. If you want to hear more of these amazing conversations, go to ilovesuccess.co. Thanks again, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you so much.